Alright, so 2018's The Predator is directed by Shane Black, who starred in the original. It is also written by Fred Decker and Shane Black. And it stars Boyd Holbrook as Quinn McKenna, the main character here. And Boyd Holbrook is an actor that I have been seeing popping up in movies recently. Vengeance with BJ Novak is one I watched with him in it, and I really liked him in there. And I guess it's not recently, but he was also I guess you could say, main villain of the movie Logan. Um, so yeah, I really do like him as an actor. Is he good here? I'll get into that in a minute. We also have Trevante Rhodes as Nebraska Williams, Jacob Tremblay as Rory McKenna, can't talk right now apparently, the son of Quinn McKenna. We got Keegan-Michael Key as Coyle, Olivia Munn as Casey Brackett, Sterling K. Brown as Traeger, Thomas Jane as Baxley. We got Alfie Allen from Game of Thrones as Lynch, Augusto Aguilera, probably saying that wrong, as Nettles, and also Jake Busey. We'll throw that in there. Jake Busey as Keys. And no, he is not the character from the second movie, but I mean, you can kind of assume that they're probably related. For those of you who don't know, Gary Busey, Jake Busey's brother, was in Predator 2 as a character with the last name Keys. And I'm pretty sure they have two different first names, so it is not the same character. It could possibly be maybe like a son kind of situation or something like that, but not 100% sure. That being said, he's really not in the movie for that long. So, I mean, I feel like he was just there to be like, hey, he has the same last name as that other guy, and they're also related, so it's a callback. It's a reference. And there are a lot of those in this movie for sure. I mean, they do certain twists on it, like Olivia Munn's character, Casey Brackett. She's like a scientist, and she's looking at the predator they have that they're studying, and she's like, "You're one beautiful motherfucker," opposite of "you're one ugly motherfucker" that they said in both the first and second movie. So yeah, they try to do little spins on it to make it clever, but it's really not that clever. There's times with like shots of helicopters and stuff like that that remind me heavily of the original. Obviously, they have the original score in here. All the movies so far, except for Prey, have had that. So, well, I guess I can't really say so far since this is the last Predator movie I'll be watching. But, I mean, you got Alien vs. Predator 2, but I feel like that's kind of separate. So, the thing about the characters in here is you have Quinn McKenna, he's a soldier. All the characters in here, for the most part, except for obviously like Jacob Tremblay's character and Olivia Munn's character, they're all soldiers. Most of them are complete lunatics. They're the kind of guys that really need a psych evaluation, so they're all kind of put in this one group. Boyd Holbrook's character ends up getting put in that group for seeing the Predator. It killed his men. So, they're trying to kind of keep it hush-hush. And, yeah, basically, Quinn McKenna gets stuck with all these people, and they all have to fight the Predator together. So, that's kind of what it is there. For the most part, there's some details I'm not 100% sure I want to get into because of spoilers. But at the same time, it's a big thing to talk about with this movie. So, maybe I'll get into it in a minute here. But, I mean, Quinn McKenna, Boyd Holbrook's character, I think Boyd Holbrook did a pretty good job with the writing that he was given. The one thing I will say about this movie is that the writing is not good. I wouldn't say it's the worst writing I've ever heard, but there's a lot of just cheesy lines in there. There's a whole scene in the beginning with Nebraska Williams, played by Trevante Rhodes, where he's just like introducing each of the characters and telling us about their different quirks, and that's such a movie trope to do. Just be like, all right, this guy over here, yeah, he's a crazy motherfucker, but, this is his quirk. I mean, like, we see that in so many different kinds of movies, especially action movies, so it just felt, I mean, it's good to know these different quirks about the different characters to, like, kind of separate them from each other, but in the end, like, I don't feel like you get enough real character moments with anybody else other than Quinn McKenna and Nebraska Williams and maybe Casey Brackett. I mean, Rory McKenna is definitely the heart of this film, which I'll get into in a sec, but everyone else doesn't really get much character development, so basically their quirks are their character. which isn't necessarily a good way to do it. So, yeah, Rory McKenna, let me talk about this character for a minute. His character, it's never fully specified. There's some bullies that say he has Asperger's, but I'm pretty sure it's autism. And his autism actually plays a huge part in this movie. You know what? I'm just going to outright say it because I wouldn't recommend this to people trying to watch the Predator movies. Um, Man, maybe I don't want to say it then. Because I feel like if there's people out there doing exactly what I'm doing, I probably wouldn't want it spoiled. But at the same time, I already heard about it going into the film. So I guess I'll say this. Autism is very important in this movie, I guess. Because that's basically what the Predator is after. He wants that DNA. I know. It's weird, right? Am I the only one that thinks that's weird? I don't think I am. I think a lot of people think that's kind of weird. From the few reviews I've heard of this film, people are like, that's a weird fucking plot. um, I don't know, man. There's something really weird and off about this movie. Um, I mean, I don't mind Shane Black as a director. I have only seen Iron Man 3, and that's a movie he directed. It's possible I've seen other movies that he's done and just don't remember, but I don't know. Something about the writing. There's just too much comedy in this movie. It almost feels like a Marvel movie in a way, where you have moments of comedy mixed in with the action and the dark parts. I guess you could say you know, the more sad thing. Maybe not sad things, but the characters you see get killed off, where you're just like, oh no, it's that character. But at the same time, I never really felt that about any of the characters in this movie whatsoever. I was never sad that a character died because I really don't give a shit about these people. um, and I'm starting to notice that the more I watch these movies, is the further we go in this series, the less they really have a story for the humans. I mean, Quinn McKenna in this movie and Rory McKenna are kind of the heart of the film because it's like, it's a father-son thing. And I will admit, putting a kid in there and having that aspect of danger, the kid possibly, they could possibly die, that definitely upped the stakes for me. But, at the same time, you kind of never, you kind of knew that they wouldn't kill off the kid. They wouldn't do that. And obviously they didn't. And I don't know, the stakes just didn't feel real because I was just like, well, it's obvious that they're not going to kill the kid. And I guess he was kind of important in the end for the Predator's plan, but just none of it made a whole lot of sense. Let me get to my notes here because I'm just kind of rambling about the dumb shit in this movie. But I will say it wastes no time getting to know the Predator, or not getting to know the Predator, but actually seeing the Predator. Not even the first 5 minutes you actually see Boyd Holbrook's character, seeing the Predator, not just like camouflage, but he actually sees the Predator. And the thing I like about a lot of the other Predator films is that it's a slow build. And here it's just like, all right, well, we're just jumping right into it. We're not gonna have any suspense or anything like that. The Predator never seems intimidating or scary in this movie. Mainly to start off with because you have a predator going after another predator that's basically a traitor. And I don't know, this movie, like I said, it really just has no stakes. You don't really care much about the characters other than maybe the kid and his dad, but everybody else is just kind of a cartoon character, especially Keegan-Michael Key in here. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love Keegan-Michael Key. I love Key and Peele. He's a great comedic actor, but not for this movie. There's just too much comedy in this movie, and a lot of the jokes just really don't land. Let me talk about some of the jokes they try to go for. Lots of humor, like I was saying, but most of it isn't great. I think it's on the other side here. Shoot. I thought I wrote it down on here. Basically, they had this joke with Sterling K. Brown's character Traeger, where he was comparing climate change to that time when Twinkies, you couldn't buy Twinkies anymore from Hostess. Let that sink in for a minute. The fuck does that have to do with anything? Seriously. This motherfucker starts, and nothing against the actor whatsoever, but this motherfucker starts talking about Twinkies, and I'm just like, what the fuck kind of movie am I watching right now? Am I watching a Predator movie, or am I just watching a series of fucking weird ass events with stupid fucking jokes that are very misplaced and add nothing to the film whatsoever? Let me look at my other notes here, because I think I wrote down one more. Shoot, where's it at? Bear with me here. Oh yeah, there's a shit joke in here where some serious shit goes down. Let me just say it. The fucking kid gets taken by these assholes, Sterling K. Brown's character and a bunch of his groupies. And Boyd Holbrook's character, the father of this child that literally just got taken, stops to take a shit in the RV. Like, come on. Like, sorry for the pauses there, for the dead air, but like, what the fuck is this movie? Ah. And then most of the characters, like the main characters, don't even die up until the end of the movie, so you're with a large group of people up until the end. And the way I like the Predator movies is that, like, you get one, maybe two people at most at the end of the film going up against the Predator. And here, you got a whole fucking group of people that seem to not really, I mean, they're soldiers, but they don't seem to be up to the task of killing a Predator, and they're not by the end. But most of the time, it's just these nameless scientists and soldiers that are just getting killed off by the Predator. You don't know their names even. You don't care about these people. So I don't know. That's partially why I feel like there's no stakes, because you can't even really. They're so focused on this ensemble of great actors that they forget to even like. They forget to kill a few off, you know? Like, it sounds bad, but you kind of got to do that. You got to kill off the main characters, like some of the main characters, for people to actually feel like you're doing something, to make it feel like the Predator is actually a threat. And in this movie, the Predator is furthest from a threat than he or she has ever felt. I don't know. This movie, I would say it's not disappointing because I heard a lot of bad things going into it. But, I mean, does it have any redeemable moments? I mean, it's kind of fun in some spots. You know, some of the characters are kind of fun and have some good back and forth. But for the most part, it just it doesn't feel like it's in the right movie, really. I mean, the first film, in a way, is kind of a comedy film, looking back on it. And that's just me personally with, you know, some of the cheesy stuff they do, but it works well in that movie because that movie, in a way, is kind of a parody of those other kinds of movies. And with this, it's just like, what are you trying to parody here? Like, these jokes aren't funny. You're just doing joke after joke. It feels like Family Guy at some points in this movie with all the jokes that they're doing. And I'm just, like, Keegan-Michael Key, like I said, love him as an actor. But his character is kind of fucking annoying in this movie. He just never shuts up. Who else in here? Alfie Allen as Lynch, like, you don't see much of him. Thomas Jane as Baxley, like, that's when you kind of see a little bit. I couldn't, even though they tell you the different quirks that these characters have, like, they kind of nail it into your head, these different quirks. But at the same time, like, none of them really stand out to me. Like Nettles, played by Augusto, I'm not going to attempt that, apologies. But his whole thing is that he believes in God and reads the Bible. Like, is that even a character? Like, come on. You know, Alfie Allen as Lynch, I couldn't even tell you what the deal with him was. Baxley, same thing, couldn't even tell you what the deal was. Who else? Coyle. I mean, I don't even know what to say about him. They tried to give him some character development, a moment where he was like crying because, you know, he's a veteran with PTSD, and they don't even focus on it. Like 2 seconds later, they're doing jokes, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up with these jokes, please. And I'm sorry I'm swearing so much, but this movie kind of pisses me off. I would much rather watch any of the other Predator films before this one. This one, I mean, it almost doesn't even feel like it's the humans versus the Predator. It kind of just feels like the humans are getting in the way of the Predator, which is kind of like an interesting try to make it a little different, but it doesn't work at all. because the whole time it's just like the Predator's like, oh, here are these motherfuckers again. I guess I gotta kill them because they're in the way. And, he's going after the other Predator. Just make this a Predator versus Predator film. If that's what you want it to be, then make it that. But there's just too many different things going on with the whole plot about them trying to get Rory for his DNA. And then, the other Predator going after the other Predator. And then, the whole, these scientists or whatever, these agents, they both want Rory, they want the Predator, they just want everything for their own game. But nothing in here stands out at all. There's not one scene in here that I was like, oh man, this movie wasn't great, but out of everything, like, this is the thing that stands out the most. Like Predators from 2010, in my review for that, I said I didn't really love the film too much, but I mean, there was one scene in particular with the samurai sword that is one of the coolest moments in any Predator film. And, well, at least in my opinion, I think it is. I love samurai swords, so. But this movie has no, I mean, they try to give it flavor with all these, comedic characters and one-liners and jokes and whatnot. But they don't stop for a minute. They don't stop their jokes for a minute to realize that they really don't give these people a whole lot of character development. I would rather see their development rather than hear about it. Like characters explaining their development, explaining their backstory. And that's basically all it is. You don't really get to learn about these characters through their experience. You learn about them from other people talking about them. And I don't know. I haven't really been going off my notes, which is surprising because I usually do. I've just been kind of going off of what my heart feels like right now. But yeah, not great writing in this movie. Shit joke interrupted the plot. Literally, it really did. And I don't even care that I'm spoiling certain shit. Don't watch this fucking movie. I mean, there's some redeemable things. The actors in here, like Boyd Holbrook, I think is great. He is a great lead. They have some interesting concepts that they were trying to do. Each Predator movie tries to do vastly different things. And whether they work or not, that's kind of up to the person who watches it. But for me, this is the worst one so far. They tried to do something so different to the point where they kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say they ruined the things that came before it, but just makes it, yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And I'm going to wrap this up in a minute here, but I will say there is one thing that they have towards the end that they kind of set up for a sequel that I'm 99.9% sure is not going to happen at this point, especially since, the Predator IP is owned by a different studio now, which is Disney. So I don't think they're going to continue with that, but they have a whole thing at the end where there's this basically mecha Predator, which is like the Predator killer. And there's a line in here where Jacob Tremblay's character, Rory, for some fucking reason is working at this base where they're like studying on alien technology. He's like, what, fucking 10 years old? I mean, I get it. He's autistic or whatever. He's super smart, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's the dumbest fucking shit. And basically they have this like mech suit where you can put it on and it goes around you and kill a predator or whatever. And Boyd Holbrook is like, that's going to be my suit. And it's not, because they're probably not going to continue that plot. Oh, man. I just talked for quite a while there. Let me see if I have anything else that I need to say. I don't think I do. I think I covered it all. I guess one last thing I could say is, there's obvious callbacks and references. A lot of these callbacks and references in the Predator films, they're never as good as the original, but there's some things that some films do better than others, I guess. Character decisions that make no fucking sense, like the fact that Quinn's character literally sent alien technology to his family's home, not expecting like, oh, this isn't gonna put him in danger at all. He even has a line where it's like, I sent it here so you guys wouldn't be in danger. And I'm like, doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. So yeah, this movie is not good. I'm gonna give it probably definitely the lowest score of all the Predator films that I've watched. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 10. There's probably people out there that like it. I'm not one of those people. I do not like this movie whatsoever. Ever so slightly redeemable moments with just some of the characters, and I mean a little bit of the action, but the action here isn't even as good as it's been, to be honest. Like, I mean, again, I can't say this movie is disappointing because I didn't have high expectations going in, but I mean, it even surpassed my lowest expectations. Surpassed? Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't care. I've been talking for a while. This is my longest review for any Predator film yet, I believe. So there's that for you. Have you seen this movie? Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you love it. Tell me if you hate it. Or if you're in the middle. Have you not watched this movie? Did my review make you want to watch it? Or did it make you not want to watch it? Hopefully it made you not want to watch it, because I would not recommend this one. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram at Pop Culture Podcast. Link in the bio of my Instagram will take you to a page full of links where you can find links to YouTube, where you're watching right now, links to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, basically wherever you get your podcast. There's a link to my TeePublic store, my website, and that should be about it. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. And by the way, I didn't even explain, so for those of you who are still watching, I'm doing a whole Predator, watching all the Predator movies, watching all the Alien movies, ending with the Alien versus Predator films, and then doing a huge tier list for them. So I won't be doing my Alien review, like that won't be coming out tomorrow or anything. That should be next week at this point. And that one will take me a little bit longer to get through because there's a few more movies in that one. So I imagine it'll probably be at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks for me to finish all of that and then get to the tier list. So about a month-ish, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's all I got for you. I'm going to stop dragging this on because this video is already super long. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.